Episode 154, Soul Land. DouLuo DaLu. Good day. Subscribes, likes, and comments. 187, Moonless Windy Killing Night. TL by Bagelson. Generally speaking, the first item selected for the auction would be high quality, and moreover one that would easily attract people's attention, because that could set the tone for the remaining auction. If the first item went for a high bid, the later items would naturally also easily go higher. 30,000. The first time Ning Rongrong spoke up, was enough to awe everyone present. Immediately, the auction turned absolutely silent. SID on the stage was also briefly stunned. From the stage, he could naturally clearly see the visitors in the first row. How could he not recognize Lu Gao's particular build? And Ning Rongrong sat next to Lu Gao. SID immediately caught on, and didn't deliberately stall like he usually would, but rather quickly said. Customer number 8 has bid 30,000 gold spirit coins. 30,000 going once, 30,000 going twice, 30,000. Just as he was about to declare the deal for this piece of profound iron, suddenly, a voice echoed from the back. 40,000. Hearing this voice, Tang San immediately frowned. He basically didn't need to look to hear who this person was. No stranger, but exactly that Zhengzhen City Lord Spirit Hall Master from yesterday, Bishop Myers. Yesterday, after Myers fucked off, running back to the Lord Hall pissing his pants in terror, it seemed to him that he might be out of luck. Showing that kind of side of him to a Spirit Hall elder level power, the punishment would definitely come soon after. Such thoughts made him wait for a whole day, trembling and witless. But nothing happened. Myers' heart then relaxed, secretly thinking that, it seemed the elder was just passing through. Perhaps the elder was here to discuss annexing the Blacksmith Association? That he didn't come to find him proved that the elder didn't intend to rebuke him. Thinking of this, he immediately thought somewhat wrong, and today prepared to come participate in the auction. First to see whether the elder was still here, and second also to cause some trouble for the Blacksmith Association in passing. No matter from what view he considered it, he didn't believe a Spirit Hall elder would really stand on the association's side. He just didn't anticipate that the elder was basically fake. Faintly flickering with light, Tang San's expression was ice cold. He didn't make a sound, only waving his hand to Ning Rongrong. Ning Rongrong was a bit surprised, but as Tang San wanted, she didn't bid again. Myers' bid became the final price, 40,000 gold spirit coins. Even though this profound iron was worth far more than that in Tang San's eyes, in fact, to blacksmiths and iron workers who were never valued on the DouLuo continent, this price was already sky high. The auction continued. Even though the first item went for a high price, the last two bids were a bit abrupt. Not only couldn't it improve the atmosphere, on the contrary it gave a somewhat suppressed feeling. The next several items were all finished products, only some weapons and such, and basically didn't reach a very high price. The fifth item was finally another chunk of uncommon metal, its price no longer under the profound iron. Its value wasn't below that of the precious profound iron, and its weight also reached more than 50 kilograms. The appearance of the refined gold undoubtedly made the auction enter another high mark. Under Tang San's direction, Ning Rongrong acted once again. When the price rose above 20,000 gold spirit coins, Myers' loathsome voice appeared anew. 30,000 gold spirit coins. Low comments began to echo within the auction. The same number twice making high bids for rare metals would naturally draw people's attention. Ning Rongrong's eyes revealed a bit of anger, and was just about to raise the sign when she was again barred by Tang San. Tang San's lips moved, and a string of words reached Ning Rongrong's ear. He only spoke one sentence, but Ning Rongrong's mood very quickly settled down. This refined gold was also won by Myers for 30,000 gold spirit coins. Myers was secretly pleased with himself. Having suppressed the auction twice, after the auction ended he had ways to torment the Blacksmith Association. For example, using Spirit Hall's name as guarantee to pay an installment, but always delaying it after getting possession of the items, relying on delaying Spirit Hall's compromise with himself. He had a belly full of similar rotten ideas. Next, for a few items that weren't particularly heavy, or some not so valuable metals, Ning Rongrong successfully won the bids. Tang San's meaning was very clear, as long as they were precious rare metals, they would bid for and win all of them. Ning Rongrong also proceeded according to his intent. Very soon, Ning Rongrong and Myers had become the focus of the entire auction, being the most frequent bidders. Moreover, any time Myers bid, Ning Rongrong would without exception keep silent, basically not fighting him. This made Myers a bit baffled, but he also didn't care. He was specially finding the most expensive items to bid for. Finally, it was time for the last item. This time it was a small trolley being pushed out, covered by red cloth, enveloping what seemed to be two people. It was of course impossible for the Blacksmith Association to auction slaves, and this item immediately drew everyone's attention. After the item was arranged properly, SUBBED drew a deep breath. He of course felt that the auction today was strange, but the auction had to go on, this related to the reputation of the association. The next item is the final one of today's auction, and also the finale. I think that I only need to use one sentence to explain its value. This is in fact two single items. Their maker is my teacher, the Blacksmith Association President, Divine Craftsman Lu Gao. These words immediately caused an uproar. In fact, ever since Lu Gao became a divine craftsman, he had very rarely produced goods. Even if made, they wouldn't be auctioned. Now that two of Lu Gao's works unexpectedly appeared, the passion stirred up was obvious. Even Myers was distracted. Everyone knew that Lu Gao's works were absolute treasures. SUBBED saw that the auction was already stirred up, and said with a slight smile. Fine, next we'll auction the first one. As he spoke, he pulled the red cloth off the somewhat taller of the figures. That was of course not a person, but rather a wooden mannequin. That wasn't important, what was important was the item the mannequin was wearing. That was a set of full-body armor. Or one might say that it couldn't be described as armor, because it actually seemed like a set of thin clothing. Its whole body appeared deep blue, glittering with a faint metallic luster, the detailed texture seeming even more like clothes. That faint glinting could even be differentiated by those very far away. The whole design had no prominent features, seeming no more than underclothes. SUBBED looked with a somewhat infatuated gaze at these clothes. Drawing a deep breath, he said. My teacher named it a treasure wishful soft armor. It's resilient enough to withstand the sixth spirit ability of a power attack spirit master. Most miraculous is that, even though it's only made from metal, it's extremely flexible, and will expand even along with a beast spirit master doubling in size while wearing it, providing the same defensive effect. This 8 treasure wishful soft armor is made from 8 different metals fused according special methods into a special stretchable memory metal thread. In the present age, only our teacher, Divine Craftsman Lu Gao has the ability to refine such metal. Having this soft armor is equivalent to having your own second life. I don't want to introduce it further, I use my life, spirit and everything, to guarantee to all honored guests that this is absolutely a creation on the divine tool level. Divine Craftsman Lu Gao researched this metal for a full 10 years, and searched for numerous rare metals and countless experiments to produce it. The starting price is 250,000 gold spirit coins. Everyone can start bidding now. Tang San looked at Lu Gao next to him. Lu Gao was already resting with closed eyes, as if this item had no relation to him. Stretchable memory metal, elastic metal. This was simply a miracle. Even with Tang San's comprehension of forging, he was still unable to understand just how Lu Gao had done it. And Titan, equally a divine craftsman, muttered with an admiring expression. He actually successfully researched it. It seems I'm no longer his equal. 500,000 gold spirit coins. And I'll give the same for the other one. Altogether 1 million gold spirit coins. I think there's no need to continue the auction. Myers didn't wait for anyone else to bid this time, and directly sealed the price. 1 million gold spirit coins, that was absolutely a truly astronomical sum in a very real sense. Everyone present grew quiet, and Myers' face beneath the black mask brimmed with pride. He had already thought it through. After the auction ended, he would return to gather people at the Lord Spirit Hall in the name of fundraising, bring all his subordinates with masks to steal it. Originally he only planned to cause a disturbance, but the appearance of these 2 divine tool-level armors moved him completely. He had already thought about it. Without a doubt, the other set was for a woman, and he was preparing to offer it to Supreme Pontiff Bibi Dong. And as for that male set, of course that would stay with him. He believed he could definitely hide it. With this suit of armor, his strength would undoubtedly rise by a large chunk. Without the need to worry about defense, one could naturally attack without the slightest misgivings. And with offering tribute upwards, perhaps he could earn a promotion and leave this common city. Lu Gao slowly raised his head, and Tang San sitting next to him clearly sensed anger from this divine craftsman. From the start of the auction until now, anyone could understand that Myers' completely unreasonable bidding was in order to cause trouble. The other goods didn't matter, but these two sets of armors on stage were the result of Lu Gao's heart's blood. How could he tolerate such blasphemy? The auction still had to continue, but nobody could compete with Meyer's last bid. A figure like 1 million gold spirit coins wouldn't easily appear even in the top auction halls of the continent, let alone a completely unimportant auction like the Blacksmith Association. The customers here were all only metal traders, and no real rich existences. It was also because it was impossible to meet strong bidders that Myers dared be so absolutely unrestrained. Ultimately, it was still as said, the blacksmith industry really was too low on the DouLuo continent. SID kept a smile on his face with difficulty, declaring the success of Myers' bid, and simultaneously the end of the auction. Lu Gao was first to stand, heading out with large strides. Oscar accompanied Ning Rongrong to pay for the things they had won. Tang San silently led Xiaowu and the others to leave behind Lu Gao. Back at Lu Gao's forge, Lu Gao's complexion was already very unsightly. Before long, his youngest disciple Sid walked in with an indignant expression. "It's too bullying. Teacher. That bidder was Myers. That fellow said he'd return to gather money and already left." Sid's face was deep red from anger, clearly his fury was at a peak. But mixed in amidst the anger, there was also a trace of helplessness. Even if Myers was deliberately causing trouble, what could they do? The Blacksmith Association and Spirit Hall were basically incomparable. Lu Gao's face was already ashen. "Put away those yin-yang 8 treasure wishful soft armors, and don't take them out for auction again." Spirit Hall, well Spirit Hall. After Sid's anger, his face also held a faint concern. "Teacher, before Myers left he told us to prepare to hand the things over to him, he'd come take them with the money in a little while. I'm afraid he won't easily let off the 2 divine tools you forged. Won't we think of countermeasures?" Lu Gao fiercely smacked a table. "What? He's a tiny bishop, don't tell me he dares rob it forcefully." Tang San spoke up, calmly saying. "That isn't improbable. Don't tell me you're not aware of Spirit Hall's position on the continent." Tai Tan clapped Lu Gao's shoulder. "Don't worry, old friend. With us here, we won't let them snatch your treasures. I still haven't had time to congratulate you on developing such a medal." Lu Gao's eyes revealed a trace of grief. "What use is that? We're still at the mercy of others. What Tang San said is right, I'm afraid Myers will take it by force. Tai Tan, I know your strength, but even if you can help me block it once, you can't stay at the Blacksmith Association forever. Even if you did, the gap between us and Spirit Hall is still impassable." Tang San said. "Senior, leave this to me. At least regarding those 2 divine tools of yours and Spirit Hall, this is just Zhengzhen City's Lord Spirit Hall." The pupils of Lu Gao's eyes contracted slightly. "Kid, what do you mean?" Tang San smiled slightly, but the icy chill that smile contained made Lu Gao shiver all over. "Senior is joining Tang sect, so consider this a reciprocal gift of greeting from Tang sect." At this point he paused slightly, and the chill radiating from him clearly grew more intense, the ice-cold, almost tangible killing intent filling the entire forge. Tang San spit out 7 syllables one by one. "Moonless windy killing night." Sid still wasn't familiar with Tang San and the others, but now hearing Tang San speak such words in this atmosphere of killing intent, he immediately felt shocked and cold. For some reason, even though this person was so young, the feeling his words brimmed with made people believe. The expression in Lu Gao's eyes also turned severe. Even if he didn't have any fighting strength, he was still a spirit sage level power. Facing Tang San's killing intent, he only felt his blood boiling. "Good, you help me get rid of them, and I'll sell you the items they won for at the initial bidding price." Tang San's eyes flashed. "Including those 2 divine tools?" Lu Gao's eyes revealed a trace of hesitation, but he still nodded. "Including those. At least if you get them, I can still see them frequently. I also believe that you will put the things I made to their proper use." Ma Hongjun grinned, saying. "Old Lu, I still believe you shouldn't charge, and give them to us for free." Lu Gao glared sharply at Fatty. "Bullshit, do you think our Blacksmith Association is a charity?" At this time, Ning Rongrong and Oscar had also returned, just in time to hear what Tang San said just now. Neither of them said anything, this was something they had already planned in advance. Ning Rongrong took Xiaowu's hand from Tang San, and Oscar took out more than 10 sausages of varying kinds and handed them to Tang San. Tang San laughed out loud, saying. It's been quite a while since I had your big sausage. Little Ao, isn't there any use for us common spirit masters to eat your clone mirror sausage? Oscar shook his head, saying. I haven't tried it either, but it should presumably be useful. As for how much effect it can display, I'm not clear on either. It's possible it will conflict with your own spirit rings. That's why I won't propose that you use it. We'll experiment once we get back. Tang San nodded, some plans already in his heart. Each spirit master's spirit had their own characteristics, and with different characteristics, the direction they were good at was naturally also different. The appearance of Oscar's clone mirror sausage undoubtedly broke the rules that spirit masters could only rely on their own spirits. If, when fighting the enemy, they could use spirit abilities the enemy didn't expect when least expected, they could catch the opponent off guard even if they weren't strong. However, this could only be tested once they had returned. Watching Tang San and Ma Hongjun leave, Lu Gao couldn't help doubtfully ask Tai Tan. Aren't you going with them? Tai Tan smiled. Old friend, you understand too little about the young master. In terms of spirit power, I really am a lot higher than young master. But speaking of overall strength, young master is still above me, and in terms of killing techniques, it's even harder for me to keep up. You wait for the news. Lu Gao was shocked. He suddenly discovered that, in his heart, that youth called Tang San was already enveloped with a dense sheen of mystery. Outside, Ma Hongjun immediately gathered next to Tang San, speaking in a low voice. Third brother, should I give you a black cloth to cover your face? Tang San shot him a glance. Fatty, your preparations are quite comprehensive. Ma Hongjun grinned. I've wandered outside for so many years, how could I travel without preparations? Inevitably there will be some times you can't show your face, say the word. Tang San said with a smile yet not a smile. When imitating the dog to steal chickens 1. Or when going to release your evil fire. Fatty looked somewhat awkwardly at Tang San. Third brother, how can you always guess right? Let me have some secrets, all right. Tang San snapped. It's easier to change the mountains and rivers than someone's character, wouldn't I know you? This time we aren't going to play dogs, showing faces doesn't matter. As long as we have anyone who sees us depart this world, is there any need to fear our identities leaking? Only Ma Hongjun could hear Tang San's voice, but at this moment, he could hear a great many things from Tang San's calm words. Recalling the cold fluctuation in Tang San's calm eyes that day Myers wanted to take liberties with Xiao Wu, Fatty secretly heaved a long sigh. Spirit Hall really was out of luck. Even directly offending third brother was less of a provocation than harming Xiao Wu. As one of the Shrek 7 devils, how could he not know that Xiao Wu was Tang San's taboo? Because Xiao Wu sacrificed herself and died due to Spirit Hall's actions, only resurrecting with great difficulty, then again taken liberties with by a Spirit Hall bishop here, it'd be a wonder if Tang San could still hold back his rage. Dense night mist filled the air, hiding the bright moonlight. The air was a bit cold, and also somewhat quiet. Two silhouettes walked forward in such a quiet night. Tang San suddenly halted. It seems we won't need to go to them. Ma Hongjun immediately caught on. The two moved sideways and hid in the darkness. Before long, clamor gradually came through from the distance. A group of several dozen people were just walking in their direction. In the lead was the person who had taken liberties with Xiao Wu that day, Myers, and the people behind him were also all spirit masters in Spirit Hall clothing. Tang San stood quietly in the corner, his right hand pressing down on Fatty's shoulder, transmitting words. The spirit masters of Zhengzhen City's Lord Spirit Hall should all be here. For divine tools, the whole nest came out in force. You head directly to the Lord Spirit Hall, set fire to it from the outside. If you encounter spirit masters as long as they aren't strong, kill without pardon. If you don't, burn their old den. Fatty looked at the constantly approaching Spirit Hall spirit masters, speaking softly. Then these people. The corners of Tang San's mouth revealed a malicious smile. Leave them to me. Ma Hongjun didn't say anything, looking at those spirit masters with a bit of pity in his gaze, then turned and quietly disappeared in the darkness. Lord Bishop, won't there be trouble if we rob the Blacksmith Association now? After all, the Blacksmith Association's status is still very high in Zhengzhen City. One spirit master said with some concern. Myers snorted coldly. You don't know farts, what trouble could there be? Who would take a trash organization like the Blacksmith Association seriously? Don't forget that we belong to the Sacred Spirit Hall. The ruler of the world, Spirit Hall. Everything we do is for the benefit of Spirit Hall. The Blacksmith Association refuses to become part of our Spirit Hall, so they must be taught a lesson. Relying on their few low-level Spirit Masters, and low-level Spirit Masters with very common spirits at that, how can they resist us? The status of us Spirit Masters cannot be compared to any other vocation, all other occupations should exist to serve us Spirit Masters. For the Blacksmith Association to give us their things is their honor. Just as he said this, Meyer's vulgar expression suddenly froze. Not just him, all the Spirit Masters present suddenly felt a shiver from the depth of their souls. This moment, they suddenly discovered that they seemed to be completely cut off from the outside world, isolated by that intense chill. Shivers coming from the weakest parts of their hearts made each person's eyes reveal a trace of alarm. A blood-curdling scream came from the rear of the group. Everyone jumped like startled rabbits, swiftly turning around. One of the less powerful Spirit Masters was already slowly sagging to the ground, his eyes filled with extreme alarm, both his hands covering his throat, scarlet constantly blood pouring between his fingers like tiny serpents. A 7-kun-2 willow leaf dagger, thin as a cicada's wing, could clearly be seen piercing his Adam's apple. The atmosphere seemed to grow even more quiet, and even colder. Myers, showing a strong front, loudly shouted. "Who? Get out here! Everyone release your spirits, be careful!" At his warning, these Spirit Masters, who had never stood on a true battlefield, came to their senses, and almost flustered released their spirits. For a moment, dazzling bright light shone, and the appearance of spirit rings drove off the fear in their hearts. Gathered together, it seemed as if even that bone-deep chill had already faded a lot. But just at this moment, someone cried out. On that side. Along with the shout, everyone's gazes turned towards the darkness in that direction, a shadow gradually growing distinct. His pace was so natural, the distance covered by each step astonishingly even. In the dark and windy night, it was very difficult to see his appearance, and only from his physique was it clear he was a man. Without need for Meyer's command, practically everyone began to release their spirit abilities in the direction of that shadowy silhouette, like hiding the sky and covering the earth. Of course, these Spirit Masters didn't release their most powerful spirit abilities, because they still had to keep in mind to preserve their lives. Humans are selfish, and especially Spirit Masters who lived like princes like them were even more reluctant to be the next victim. However, at the same time as their attack erupted, that silhouette suddenly disappeared. Without any warning, he just disappeared. Where he were erupted the violent explosions of the Jengzhen City Lord Spirit Hall Spirit Masters' attacks. Some of the weaker Spirit Masters didn't even discover that the silhouette was gone, and were still immensely pleased with themselves for hitting the target. A clear and cold shadow lengthened on the ground under the brilliance of the Spirit Hall Spirit Masters' spirit rings. A Spirit Grandmaster in the back row suddenly felt a slight numbing sensation, and immediately afterward he saw a sharp conical object sticking out through his chest. He wanted to scream, but discovered that he was already unable to utter a sound. It wasn't painful, only endlessly numbing, so numbing he couldn't make a sound even with his mouth wide open. Before falling into darkness, he finally felt his all being sucked in by something, swallowed. Not one person fell over, but two. That slender shadow stood behind them, 2 of the 8 spider lances that had at some point appeared outside his body sticking out, skewering their bodies. The defensive capabilities of their spirits basically amounted to nothing. Before the 8 spider lances, how could they escape? Sonorous cracking sounds exploded along with Tang San's right hand rising, and when numerous Spirit Masters turned around to look, mournful screams once again filled the night. At least 4 Spirit Masters lost their lives under the fearsome sharp death sprayed out by the godly Zudge crossbow. 2 dried-out corpses simultaneously flew from the 8 spider lances, blocking the attacks of the fastest to react Spirit King-level Spirit Masters, that slender shadow once again fading away. If the death of the first person alarmed these Jengzhen City Lord Spirit Hall Spirit Masters, then these following 6 deaths made them completely sink into terror. As if an intangible vicious maelstrom revolved around them, unceasingly swallowing their souls. 7 people had collapsed like that, 7 Spirit Masters. Even if they were only the weakest Spirit Masters among them, they were still Spirit Masters. They had already fallen to the ice-cold ground without the slightest sign of resistance, and nobody had clearly seen what happened. To these Spirit Masters, used to living like kings, what kind of terror was this? The more it was like this, the clearer the chill around them seemed. That ice-cold and ruthless aura filling their surroundings made the weakest parts of these Spirit Masters' hearts grow larger. If their own strength could be split into 10 parts, then right now they were using 12 parts in order to save their lives, and even Myers was no exception. Everyone stand in a circle back to back. Myers still had some leadership ability, and under his directions, the now less than 30 remaining spirit masters quickly formed a circle, nervously gathering together. The light of the spirit rings became even brighter, they were already urging all their spirit power to the peak in order to save their lives. The two spirit kings next to Myers were brothers, both raising their hands simultaneously, their second spirit abilities lit up, two brilliant golden lights soaring towards the sky, rising 20 meters upward or so before abruptly exploding open. Along with the golden light spreading, the original darkness was immediately illuminated, as if in daytime. Over there, in the suddenly illuminated night, that silhouette was finally revealed to the eyes of these spirit masters. Blue hair, purple eyes, 8 strange long lances extended on either side, in the golden light, he was constantly radiating an ice-cold aura. When the Zhengzhen City Lord Spirit Hall Spirit Masters finally found the target, they also saw those simultaneously glinting 6 spirit rings. Exposed to the opponent's gazes, Tang San no longer had to hold back on using Blue Silver Emperor in order to hide himself. The brightening light was that black 4th spirit ring, and along with that deep black light came completely contrary white light abruptly erupting from beneath Tang San's feet. Tang San spared no effort for this attack. All his spirit power was completely focused on the eruption of this 4th spirit ability. And that also meant that the white light of his Death God domain was released as a direct result of the evolved Death God assault. At the same time as the white light erupted was blue light. If the white light was described as a triangular attack, then the blue light spread in a semicircle. Just as he became visible in front of the numerous people, and as the enemies became entranced by that red spirit ring, Tang San's complete strength was already blossoming. Erupting from below their feet without the slightest warning, the Blue Silver Emperor 4th Spirit Ability Blue Silver Prison Variant Ability, Blue Silver Thrust Array, blossomed. Under the all-out control of Tang San's formidable spiritual force, his all-out spirit power attack was completely focused on the circle where those spirit masters were concentrated, so much so that there wasn't even a strand of Blue Silver Emperor outside. Ear-piercing collisions suddenly resounded as the Blue Silver Emperor collided with the spirit master's defenses. Spirit masters with strength below the 40th rank were almost instantly skewered by that terrifying Blue Silver Emperor. It wasn't really because the Blue Silver Thrust Array had reached such power, but rather because of the combined weakening and strengthening effects. The Blue Silver domain's strengthening of the Blue Silver Thrust Array, and the Death God domain's weakening of the opponents, displayed the power of this spirit ability to its extreme. The Death God Assault Array made all the spirit masters, including Myers, lose their senses, their defensive power greatly diminishing. Under such circumstances, the Blue Silver Thrust Array that could originally only kill 30th rank Spirit Masters, completely skewered Spirit Masters at the 40th rank and below. As early as before everything was began, Tang San had already eaten a big recovery sausage and a stimulating pink sausage. His purpose was of course not to constantly kill those weak Spirit Masters, but rather to exterminate everyone before him. The combined effects of the Blue Silver Thrust Array and the Death God domain stunned each Spirit Master present for at least 3 seconds. Of course, this only applied to those Spirit Masters that hadn't already died under the terrifying killing power of the Blue Silver Thrust Array. And the Spirit Masters still alive, numbered only 6. Including Spirit Emperor level Myers and 5 Spirit Kings. One imitating the dog to steal chickens, having an affair. 27 equals 23 centimeters. This episode finish at here. Comments with us and share your soul land feelings. Happy.